Hello, everybody. Happy new month today. Today is August 1, and we're excited that you're joining us for the third week in this session of the virtual learning pedagogy organized by the Coderina Education and Technology Foundation in conjunction with the Federal Ministry of Education Nigeria, the National Information and Technology Development Agency, and Vivian Fowler Memorial. Yeah. Before we go on, I want to quickly say something. Once upon a time, there was a pandemic called COVID. Schools everywhere were locked. Everyone wondered how would learning continue. Without realization came the disruption that has been preparing for a time like this called online learning. How can we keep the doors of learning open even if the schools remain locked physically? Where can we converge our learners for a fruitful learning session without they commuting to a face-to-face location? What do we put in place to accommodate the teaching and learning process as we know it to be, even when we can't leave our homes? Virtual learning environment is all that we have been tinkering with for the past couple of months since the shutdown began. And we are bringing the knowledge to us in a fresh way today by the experts. So I have the following experts backstage. Let me bring them up to show that those people that I have. I have Karen here. Then I have Sandy. And I have Oluwakemi. So they are going to be telling us something about virtual learning environment that perhaps, I guess, we might not have experienced before. So before I start to bring them on to start to facilitate the session, you permit me to do some bit of commercials. I've talked about the fact that this course, this virtual learning pedagogy, is brought to you courtesy Coderina Education and Technology Foundation in partnership with Nigerian Federal Ministry of Education, Nigerian Information Technology Development Agency, and Vivian Fowler Memorial College. Yes, and we've started, this is the third week. We've had the first week, which was very fantastic. The second was really superb. And apart from this live session, we have what we call the Coderina Learning Portal. And in the Coderina Learning Portal, learning continues in the week with everything that has been discussed on the live session. So I hope that you give yourself the opportunity to check on if you are not part of the Coderina Learning Portal yet. So you can still join and start your class from week 1. It's still open. Then don't forget, if you need any information, as it were, for this session, you can go to forum.coderina.net. It's going to be posted on the chat on your view, on the right-hand side, forum.coderina.net. You're going to see every information that you need about this program, about this course. Then also make sure that you subscribe to the Coderina YouTube channel. We come up with regularly with programs like this that are going to be beneficial to both you and perhaps your students as well, anywhere in the world. So make sure that you avail yourself the opportunity. Check on Coderina, subscribe to the Coderina YouTube live channel. Also, if you're having any issues whatsoever in this process of actually getting on the virtual learning pedagogy, the Coderina Learning Portal, just send an email to hello@coderina.org, hello@coderina.org. Your request will be attended to promptly. And the learning portal is resident at learn.coderina.net. All of these links are going to be posted on the chat beside your viewing. So I'm going to be bringing our first facilitator for today. She's Sandy Bansal. Sandy is an educator of high repute. She has been in the computing world in the educational field for over 20 years. And she has taught in a lot of European schools. She's been to Sweden, she's been to Italy, she's originally, she's British actually. So she's an European, and she had carried her trade across to all those parts. So, and fantastically, she is a Google certified innovator. So she's going to be talking something related to that today. So I want you to watch out for our session. So Sandy, welcome.
Thank you, John. Nice introduction.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. So you can bring up your slide and let me see you get on while I pull off from here. Okay. Yeah, so you're going presentation mode while I leave you to do the view. Thank you very much, Sandy.
Okay, thank you, and welcome everyone. So I'm going to give you an introduction about what virtual learning environment is. I think for a lot of us, even though if we've been learning this, it's hit a lot of us very, very quickly. Okay, VLE is an online system allowing education materials to be transmitted through the internet. I think a lot of us as teachers have found that this has been very, very either problematic or very good. And it's either new or it's something that we've been always enforcing in education. We have seen this online, computer-based systems. So we do distance learning and degree programs. We've done certification courses, instructional videos, lectures, and the list goes on. So I'm sure you've all seen this before. Advantages of using a VLE is it's easy tracking. There seems to be seamless delivery. We can do lots of time savings. There are financial savings. You can work from anywhere. And communication connection, and the most important, flexibility, so you can suit your students or your teachers. Disadvantages of the VLE is the attention spans. So usually that means that if I sit here and talk to you for an hour, I'm sure I'm going to lose you all. So the best thing is to keep it short and sweet and have everyone's attention. If there's too much material online, you can get lost. Also, have a think about the students who are going to come on this. How much technology knowledge do they have? So we need to be ourselves prepared and understand the technology before we can ask the students to come on and apply some of their knowledge. And limitations. Not everyone will have the same up-to-date computer. Maybe the internet isn't going to be working, the Wi-Fi. It could be, bad weather, everything is off. Maybe one machine is shared between many. So we have to think of different ways of when we're teaching on a VLE. Okay, so different types of platforms. You have Microsoft Office 365 and you have Microsoft Teams. Google Suite for Education. And now I think there's lots more you can think of that are coming up. There's a big competition out there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the Google with you, and I'm going to talk about these 5 Google Suite apps: the Drive, the Docs, the Sheets, the Slides, and Meet. So first of all, Google Drive. It's a simple filing system. So you can remember, if anyone is as old as me, used to go to the doctor's or the school office, and we used to have folders, and every paperwork used to be filed appropriately. But now you can do the same thing, but it's in the drive. So you're trying to sort all of those out, and you need to be prepared in the beginning, so you don't get messy and it becomes overloaded. So it's all about being organized. I have a short video here to just show you. Okay, so a quick introduction on how to use Google Drive. Now you can get onto Drive once you sign in with Google, and you've got the option here with apps, or you've got this grid here. So if I click on this, I'll go into my Drive, and you can see the Drive is a filing system. So in my Drive, I've got this window here where I can see my folders, or I can go to the sidebar and I can click on folders here if I want a particular folder. Okay, so going into my Drive now, I want to quickly show you that this person icon here means you can share your folders. So if I go in here, I can share it with another person. Okay, so I just put in the name and it's done. This makes one person, as an educator, I can get my students to put all their work into one folder and we can all look at it. So it's a really good sharing resource. You can also right click and you can change the color. And the idea behind this is that you don't have, like I have here, loads of single documents. The idea is you put everything into folders and it's easier organized, just like, as I said earlier, filing system. Okay, so that was a quick introduction to the Google Drive. Oops, so moving on to, the next slide, Google Docs. This is a simple Word document. You can add images, tables, you can do MLA citations, footnotes and other formatting, add comments. So if I just go back into this slide, okay. I have a document here, and I had this from a student called Karen, and I found this. Now, one of the bonuses about Google is you can check if the work has been copied. So you can check for plagiarism. So I've made a comment to Karen and said, you have copied this straight from Roald Dahl. Please change this. And Karen's replied back, oops, thank you. But she's also marked this as resolved. Okay. So there's a little exercise here. I don't know if you can actually access these documents online, because one of the tasks I was going to ask you to do, can you add an animal, character, job and personality onto this table? Maybe that's probably one of the tasks for next week. Okay. Google Sheets is a number document for calculations and charts. So if I go back into this one again, no, this one. I have here data. Now you can see from this data, I have lots of it. Now, one of the things I've done is I've added a chart. Now, what this shows is a mean year of students at school, and I can have it by country. if I don't like the setting of this graph, I can click on the 3 dots. I can edit the chart. I can go in and change the type. Okay, that makes no sense. Okay. I can, if I go to the previous, I really like this because it actually gave the results of the world. And it means I can change the color as well. I can have the background into a different color. I can have the font narrow. I can change the border. The idea is I can now take this data, which has simple calculations. I've got average. I've got sum that adds all of this up. I can take this data and I can put it into the chart. Here you have a formula bar, and actually should have shown you with the docs as well. You always have this bar here, which you can do various things and change the view. You can change the size of the font. You can fill in the cells. You can put borders in, vertical. You have so many options. You can even change, which is one of the best things, is the format. Okay, so obviously didn't like my 75% data. Okay, didn't like anything. Now, if you've used, if you have used spreadsheets before, then working on sheets is very similar. Okay, presentation. Now, I purposely did different types of things in presentation. So I put these links in. I put a video in, so I embedded the videos in. And I also did pictures. So you can add images in, and I've got external links. So I wanted to show you the amount of you can do in slides. So if I go back into slides, John, I don't know, do students have access to this, or do the viewers have access to this right now?
We can actually set them to have access to it. Or I can put the link. You want them to do something on it right now?
Yes, please.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Let me try to get them on it right now.
Okay. So what I wanted you to do is, here is a slide. You can add in any type of slide you would like. Okay. You've got here images, you've got shapes, you can add different backgrounds in there. You can change the font. You can make it bold, you can make the size different, fill in the background color, put bullet points in. So if you have the link, and I'm giving a 3-minute countdown, or maybe even less, my feelings of VLE. Okay, so I've given you a brief description of what's good and what's bad about using virtual learning environments. See if you can add an image, put some text in, and if you're racing ahead than others, why don't you go ahead and add emojis or add links in? So if I just give you 3 minutes, a couple of minutes. The idea of this exercise is, if you can see my screen, is that I can see that my student Otter is in there testing this out. It's brilliant. You can see your students online if you want to do something collaboratively. And one of the other good things about this is you can go into version history, and this is on all documents, see version history, and you can see who's been doing what. So it really does work out. Yay. I can go in and say, make a comment as well. So comment. So you're always being interactive with your students. No one feels like they are being left out. Okay. I think, oh, and then I think we'll finish there with the slides. But it's there if anyone wants to do something. The last one is Google Meet. In Google, it was one way of me interacting with my students during the COVID, and we got on and we met during class times. And you can either have the grid view, they didn't have to show their faces, and it's very simple. You have a code, you invite the class in. And it's just like Zoom. It's just like every other group chat online. Okay. These tasks will be on Moodle. And if you've got any questions about Google, I will be ready to answer them.
Wow. Thank you very much, Sandy, for that presentation.
Thank you, John.
You've been able to, within the short period of time that you have been able to introduce them to a whole lot of the Google apps. And I think we're going to entertain their questions after the other presenters have come in. And yeah, so thank you. For, let me bring on the next presenter. So thank you very much, Sandy. I really appreciate the presentation. Yeah, so I'm supposed to be bringing on someone now, but yeah, she's trying to sort out some technology things. Technology a whole lot of times can actually make a mess of things, but you have to just stick with it to get things on. So I'm going to be bringing on Karen Jackson right now. Yeah, so Karen is a Google certified innovator also. Okay, you may wonder, how am I bringing on certified innovators? Yeah, they are wonderful people and they're solving all problems across the educational sphere. She has retired from Texas A&M University, but she has a project of our own right now, and she's still very, very active, doing a whole lot of things. And that's why you can actually see her presenting here, and she has been doing a whole lot of things on WeVideo and all that. So you're going to get to see more of Karen when you get to the Moodle show. I'm very sure of that because of the content that is already there. So Karen, you're welcome.
Thank you very much. I am to share my screen. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah, exactly. Go ahead. Exactly.
Here we go. All right. So I am going to talk about eventually. There we go. Present. Okay, I'm going to talk about our about 3 things this time, and I'm sorry I'm not on the first slide. Okay, so the virtual learning environment is so important, and I'm not going to rehash what Sandy eloquently said. This presentation is right here, so you're welcome to go there and click along with me or click ahead. I don't really care. I want you to go at your own pace. Now, I am going to go probably too fast for some and not fast enough for others. But I do want you to know that all of your instructors in this Code Arena course, we are all willing to help you out and answer any questions you have. So our contact information will be included and is included in all our presentations and also in the Moodle shell. Okay, so today is a bit.ly link, VLP Deep Dive 3, and it is case sensitive. There are so many tools out there. If you even just start trying to search around to look for something that's going to help you teach, you will get overwhelmed within 5 minutes. So we recommend doing 1 or 2 things very well. So get professional level with something you feel confident that you can deliver your content to your students, and then add 1 or 2 things each year even. Don't try to just grab all kinds of interactivity and all kinds of course and all kinds of everything. But you do need to allow your students to see that you're learning along with them, because that is a great role model, and that will encourage them to try new things just like you are. So you're both learning together, and it's more of a team, so that especially in this time of quarantine, that they're not isolated, that everyone is learning, and this is going to be different for everybody. Excuse me. All right, so before you do anything online with your students, I always like to remind you that there is such a thing as digital citizenship, and you need to tell them how to be safe. At least in my country, most students learn about the internet through this and through their friends. They learn texting and they learn game playing, but they don't really learn how powerful this tool is, that this tool can change their life for the better, and that this tool is freedom. So this represents education. So we are the ones that need to share with them how important it is that they can learn online and all the possibilities that are out there, but they need to be wise. And here's one kind of digital citizenship that's presented by Google. I'm not going to read it to you, but it's Be Internet Awesome Curriculum. And be smart, be strong, be alert, be kind, and be brave. And each of these have 5 points. So this is something that if you want to focus on 1 a week, maybe when you start with them, or have them each pick something to learn about. There's a whole online curriculum, and the link is in the presentation, or you can just do a search for Google curriculum or Google digital citizenship, and you'll get there. But I love this because it gives students concrete skills to work on the internet, but also using technology to teach it. For example, when we always tell our students, take notes on this and study your notes. But a lot of times we forget to tell them specifically how we want them to take notes and what do they study? How do they study? So they use a technology tool like a Google Doc with a table and how to put the text and put the notes, put the text and the notes. And then it teaches them using technology, how to use life skills, all kinds of cool stuff in there, from building a resume and how to look for a job, how to learn online, how to teach online too. So brilliant stuff in there. It's a whole day's training in itself. So always show them how to be internet smart. The next one. So I'm going to specifically focus on two G Suite tools and Wakelet. Classroom, Jamboard, and then Wakelet to collect and curate ideas. And I'll share some collections with you. So let's do the first one. Here we go. This is where interactivity comes in. You will need a Gmail account. And if you've just been in with Sandy's presentation, you can use the same Gmail account, and you're going to join my class today. And so just so you can see what it's like from a student perspective, what the student sees. And then I'm going to walk you through the basic steps on creating your own classroom and show you how to make an assignment. So that's what I'm going to require of you. So that's what I'm going to show you right now. Okay, so go to classroom.google.com, and then you're going to click on the plus sign in the upper right corner. So I'm going to, I have this open as a student. And right now I'm going to sign out. Okay, so I'm going to pretend I am a student, but you'll see what I mean. Okay, so to join, you'll go to classroom.google.com. It'll be mostly blank if you've never been there before. And then as a student, you're going to direct your students to click on the plus sign, and then they can join a class. Notice that it doesn't say create a class, it says join a class. That's how you know you're in there as a student. Okay, so I'm going to jump across to my teacher view. Okay, oh, and I need to give you the student code. Our code is case sensitive GGJMAXK. And this is our class code. So if you happen to be in a classroom situation and you have a projector, you can shine this up on the screen, and then the students can join your class. So classroom.google.com. Okay, so we have one person. And then this is our class code, GGJMAXK. As the students join, I'm refresh my screen. There we go. So we have a little bit more. There are two ways actually. I can directly add students by using their Gmail. Okay, and if I wanted to add this person, this is not really one of my students, but I would click on that and it would send them an invite email and they could join my class that way. That way, if you're not in the same room with students, you can send them the link to join the class. This is what teachers see. Okay, and now I can say, welcome to my class. I'm now in the teacher interface. Please tell me what your favorite song is. So it's called the stream, and I can post questions. And as my students log in for the day, as they see their class, they'll see a little note by the classroom, and they'll see a little exclamation mark or a dot or some indication that there's a message for them, and also upcoming projects will be shown there as well. So I have a question. Oh, there's someone who has said, I am in class. Welcome to class. Hello. And then Dancing Queen, great song. So you know how with online learning, it's very important to check in with your students. This would be a great way to just check in with them, see how they're doing. As we say in the United States, take their temperature, kind of see if they're feeling alone or isolated, or encourage them, build that relationship with the student so that if they happen to be far away, they feel comforted and build that bond and that relationship with their teacher. Very important to do that. So that's how a teacher would post into the stream. There's also classwork, and I can create an assignment, and I can say another welcome, or this might be the very first one where they have to tell you maybe their contact information or some information when they'll be available to talk to you. And then I can add directly from Google Drive. I can add a link to a YouTube video if I want them to watch the video and then respond to it, a file to attach from my computer, and then a link. Oh, sorry. The link here is for an internet page. You know, you can put a link there, but right now I'm going to show you a science lab report. That's going to be their welcome assignment. Okay. And this one here is probably the most important thing about Google Classroom that you'll ever come across. If I just left it like this, students can view the file. That's fine. They can't write on it. They cannot accidentally delete it. They can't do anything negative with it, but they can only look at it. You may just want them to read it. That's fine. But here, you can make a copy for each student so that each student can get their own copy of that report, and they can change it and add it and put their name on it and then turn it back into you. There'll be a turn it in box when you see that, when I make this assignment, if you join the class. Now this one is students can edit file. This is like what Sandy was talking about, where everyone edits the same file. Another great check-in, the Google slide activity she did. That's a great way to just check in and see how your students are doing. So you have to figure out ahead of time, how do I want the students to have this? Well, I'm going to give a copy to each student. And then here's all that information, the points, the due date, everything. Right now, I'm not going to put a due date on it. I'm going to click this down triangle. I can schedule it for next week. Let's say class doesn't start till next week. I can save a draft, save it, and add more to it later. Or I can discard it, or I can schedule it. Let's say I want it to go out at midnight or 11 o'clock or 5 o'clock in the afternoon or something like that. Right now, I'm just going to direct assign it, and it's instantaneous. It'll be assigned to all the students in my class. And it's still assigning. Got to go across the ocean. Okay, so now if you signed up for the class, you can now look over here is my student interface. And this is actually a different class, but here is the assignment, and it has probably Karen Jackson posted a new assignment, welcome assignment. Okay, so the students, if I put a due date on it, the due date will go here. I think in order to not overwhelm you, that's all I'm going to say. I'm going to go over these 4 tabs at the top. People. Here are all the people that are in my class right now, and grades, which in itself is wonderful. You can keep track of all your grades no matter how you report them. and it'll have the due date and all that information here. You can edit or delete the grades and assignments. Okay, so that's all with Google Classroom I want to do right now. Okay, Jamboard. Jamboard is interactivity. We all want to have our students interact with us. So Jamboard is online. Instead of talking about it, let's just do it. Okay, here's the link, bit.ly/Codarena Jam. So I'm going to click on it. You can click on it as well. Okay, and there's a menu over here on the left. There are pens where you can write. And I like this because I have a touch screen. I can use my finger so much better. Okay, so that is touch screen. I can erase some of it. Let's see, I don't like that. Also, sticky notes. Sticky notes are right here, and there's lots of information about how to use the sticky notes. What is one thing you have learned today? So that is my question to you. I need to make sure that my sharing permissions, anyone on the internet can edit. Okay, that's what I want. Then open this up to the whole world for today. But how to get there and how to find one, you open up your drive, and it's over here under the, some people say waffle, but it's the 9 dots over here. And it's a J, an orange J. When you click on that, it'll show you all the Jamboards that you've ever participated in or anyone who has ever shared, but this is just owned by me. Okay, so here's the one that I did today. I'm going to go back. So that's under all the apps in your drive. I also like calling that the matrix. That's mathematical. But when people participate, you'll see their circles just like in any Google app, any Google product. Fun stuff, fun stuff. So if I have a math problem, you can upload images. You can upload from your device or a Google search. So this is the typical upload window from Google. Okay, stopping there, moving on, back to my Prezzo. Okay, Wakelet is a way to curate information online. If you can copy and paste, you can use Wakelet. And I truly mean that. So you can share it with, here's another link to the Wakelet that I created for our course. It's very simple. It's just 3 things on there. I wanted to keep it very simple. So here's what it looks like. I like, here's Classroom, here's Jamboard, and then some Wakelet information, the 3 things I talked about today. But these are collections. So if you click on what you're looking at, it'll take you to a collection of more stuff and more stuff. Videos, anything with a web address, you can put in a Wakelet. When you organize it, let me just recommend you use categories so that when you are gathering all this information, there's a social media called Pinterest, which I have in Pinterest, but it is so disorganized, it's just craziness. This is something where just innovation, you can be more specific. Think about the collections you can have for your students about science, about reading, about whatever topic you want them to go to. Okay, so that's what I love about Wakelet. It's free. Everything I've shown you today, there's no charge and no membership. And here's a good example. You can also share with a QR code with your students. They hold up their device and the QR code will take them to the Wakelet. And also, when you have created a Wakelet of several resources, you can share directly to Google Classroom so that you can say, students, go to this Wakelet. And here are the Wakelets that I've curated so far, then my profile. And remember, when you create a profile, follow me and I'll follow you. And so your assignments from me this week, you're going to create a Google Classroom shell. You're just going to go the plus sign, make a class. Okay. There are links on here specifically, videos, how to do it. You're going to add one welcome assignment. You're going to create a Google Jamboard for collaboration, include that share link, and share with another student. You don't have to share with me. You can share with yourself, your own email if you want. And create a Wakelet account and 3 resources, and then share the Wakelet with another student. So these are 3 ways you could actually get your online learning class off the ground. And that's your assignment. And we'll be here to answer any questions you want. So there we go, Mr. John. I think I'm done.
Yeah, thank you so much, Karen. This is loaded. After you're off the screen, you can actually give our participants the link. Some of them are actually asking for the links for them to quickly get into it. But really, the truth is you're going to get all of that on the Corona Learning Portal. If you're on the Moodle shell, everything that Karen has talked about is already there for you. So you just need to log on to that and start to try out all of those wonderful things. So those things are really amazing, Karen.
Fun.
It's kind of like it's Karen made easy VLE stuff and all that. So thank you so much for coming around. Yeah, thank you for the presentation. Yeah, so I'm going to bring on the next presenter right now. Yeah, so I'm having Oluwakemi Oluriola, one of the very few MIE fellows in Nigeria. I'm proud to say that because it's one of those things I'm aspiring to become to as well. She's also the CEO of Escutech Education Technology, and she's a lecturer at the Olabisi Onabanjo University, Agoiwoye. So thank you very much of coming around, Oluwakemi. Hope you can hear me.
Thank you for having me on.
All right, that's good.
I hope you can hear me too.
Yes, it's very clear and audible. So would you bring on your presentation or I'll share?
Okay, let's.
Okay, so.
Let me. Okay, so sharing screen. Okay. So I have my slides on.
Yes, we have it here right now.
So let me start from.
Okay.
So today I will be quickly looking at crafting a collaborative online learning environment. And so we've heard from our previous presenters what a virtual learning environment is, what you should do, and then some demos on some applications, especially on the Google Suite. I will be tilting towards the Microsoft offers, as Mr. John has said. I'm a Microsoft educator, and so I'll be also sharing some tips on that side. But first and foremost, I know one of the major things we want to achieve when we are taking our students on virtually is to see how we can increase their engagement and collaboration. So today, what I intend to achieve is look at how we can, what is collaborative learning, and what are the online tools and technology that helps us achieve this. And if time permits, I'll go into a few demo sessions so I could give live examples of the tools that enable collaborative learning in a virtual environment. So collaboration, we all know that collaboration is a 21st century skill that is a high demand and is something that we expect our kids, our students to acquire to be able to meet the need for the 21st century marketplace, learn to work hand in hand with the seamless integration of learning platforms. And so we are looking at, even virtually, creating a collaborative environment where teachers and students have access in order to succeed in this modern world. It's a 21st century skill that is very important to develop. And so we talk about collaborative learning. We say it's an important way to help students gain experience in interaction and develop important skills in critical thinking, self-reflection, and of course, co-construction of knowledge. These are skills that are very important even in this present time, critical thinking, self-reflection, co-construction of knowledge. And this is one of the things we achieve with a collaborative learning environment. And again, in such an environment, learners gain interactive experiences as they participate in discussions, they search for information, and then exchange opinions with their classmates. One of the challenges of virtual learning environments that I have seen most teachers engage with is the fact that it's a bit static. And so you have just a teacher and the student engagement. There really isn't much room for group like you could easily do during your face-to-face classroom interactions, put them in pairs, put them in groups, set their chairs around so that they work and collaborate on stuff. So that has been one of the major challenges, especially for schools who are in this pandemic period, forced to shift to the virtual learning environment. A lot of teachers have been wanting to know, how can I bring back this collaboration that we normally have in class and have it done virtually also. But these things are possible, especially if you have the knowledge of the right tool and the right pedagogy to go with it. So one of the advantages of collaborative learning environment is that it gives you better learning outcomes because you are engaging the development of a higher order thinking skills, and the knowledge and understanding of subjects are shared and transmitted among members as they work towards a common learning goal or a solution to a problem. It's kind of, with a collaborative learning environment, you're looking at inclusion, everybody gets to participate, everybody's achieving the same goal, and they're better engaged, and above it all, it's also fun. There's this fun factor also, the enjoyment of not working alone, having to work with others, and all that is put together in a learning environment. So what do we do in a collaborative learning environment? We want our students, or students, we generate ideas, and after generating these ideas, in a collaborative environment, you have a project, you have a problem to solve. Everybody comes together, gives their opinion, generates ideas to go about it. Then you triangulate and organize these ideas. So one of the things we do first and foremost is to say, look, whatever comes into your mind, there's no idea that is useless. There's no idea that isn't a good idea. Just drop your ideas as they come, and then we go into the stage of triangulating or organizing those ideas, and then bringing them to focus on, okay, what really is the problem we're trying to solve, and which of these ideas best fit in to this our focal point. After which, you now read and see that after collaborating, talking, discussing, and all that, you're able to choose, okay, which is the possible application of the solution profile when it is then pushed, which is then pushed forward. But this can only be achieved really if you're able to increase the collaboration that happens in the classroom, if you're able to use, virtually, find tools that can help you achieve this kind of project-based kind of learning or inquiry-based kind of learning. So this idea basically is pulled out from Aristotele's pedagogy of group discussion. And so, where you have everybody's with their experience and putting their input, that's the idea generating level. And then, of course, as a teacher or the moderator or the facilitator, as it may be now that you're virtually your virtual instructor, you can have, like I said, some of these tools can afford you to put your kids in groups, like breakout rooms and all that in some of these applications, and then they work to generate the ideas. And as a teacher, you have access to go into the different groups and lead or guide as these ideas are being generated. Then we come into the idea organization stage. And of course, now after the ideas have been organized, even in this, also with these tools, the students can also begin to research, engage in intellectual convergence, where they begin to research of the possibilities. Has anybody done something similar? What were the outcomes? And all that information is gathered to support whichever idea it is that they have decided to adopt. And then it goes to the possible application of the solution. And it's not just linear. You can go back and forth until there's an agreement to achieve that. So you see, when we're looking at a collaborative learning environment, a collaborative virtual learning environment, there are some things that are needed. There are some things that we need to consider. The technology, and then you have to also decide what rules and regulations online students' behavior would be. We're talking about digital citizenship, we're talking about global citizenship, and I know one of our instructors that earlier spoken on something around that. So there needs to be regulations. Like, for instance, where you're generating ideas, you cannot just come up and say somebody's idea is a stupid idea. You have to set rules and regulations for online students' behavior so that you can have good classroom management. And of course, you need orientation for the students. You need to let them know what these tools are, what they can do, how they can use these tools, and what your expectations are. That comes into smart, clear, and achievable goals are spelled out. So they're not just left on their own, but we have these guidelines helping them to know how they can effectively collaborate online during maybe an inquiry-based project or a problem-based project or a group project or whatever it is that we want to use this space for. And of course, choice of subject matter, what would be the focus. And we've talked about sparing out of roles. So we are collaborating. And so one of the things about collaboration is that they are assigned duties, they are assigned roles to different students, and every student understands that they have to play their role, because the success of that project the success of that project is heavily based on their own achieving their own role, playing their own role perfectly. And so everybody knows what the expectations of each other are. And as an educator, you'll be left with the monitoring of their performance even as this engagement goes on. So knowing all this, one begins to look for tools that can enable you and your classroom or your students to actually achieve this and to effectively collaborate online. You want to, some of the tools you consider, some of the online learning tools or technologies we want to look at when we want to engage online. We're looking at, does it afford for video conferencing, so that once in a while we can have live sessions like we're having now and discuss progress made and whatever it is. And can this environment also, does it have the ability to record lessons or videos, lesson recording or video creation tools, so that for the visual you can present visual materials or do a recording and people can have access it even asynchronously if they can't be online at that particular time. Does this environment, does it have a learning management system where you can organize students' data, students' attendance, you can have analytic view of what is going on in the classroom. Cloud storage, I know the previous instructor talked about OneDrive. Can you examine or assess, does it afford that? Can you do assessments, or maybe even at the end of the term, take your summative examination or formative assessments as you go on with this learning? Is it a platform you can schedule meetings or schedule activities and all that? Does it have a space for you to put resources? And then, does it enable conversation anytime, anywhere, anytime, day conversation? So when you're looking for an effective learning environment, you want to see a tool or an environment that can have at least, if not have afford all these areas, but at least will put all this in one place. We have seen a lot of scenarios where we have educators. I have seen a lot of scenarios where we have educators of school use a different application for video conferencing, then use a different application for video creation tools, then use a different application as a learning management system, and then use a different application to store contents of files online. So we see that happening, but and then use a different application for assessments and all that. But if you can have one single application that does all things, I think it will make for ease of use and more user friendliness for both educators and the students. So one of the examples I will be showcasing this morning, or noon rather, will be Microsoft Teams. And before I go into the demo session, I'm just going to give a little overview of what Microsoft Teams can afford. So as you can see, Microsoft Teams is more like it's a hub where you have all the tools that you would need for a collaborative learning environment already embedded in that one tool. So with Microsoft Teams, you can give notifications, chats that pop up and all that. And so the students know that there's a discussion going on. You can view activities. You can immediately start a video meet. So while I'm talking to you and I feel, okay, let's get on board. Let's discuss this thing face to face. I can convert my post or my conversation directly by clicking on the video icon into a video meet. You can post announcements, make conversations, use their favorite emojis, or by coding elements that have been dropped for them from the educators from their backpack. And you also have, of course, Microsoft Office suites enabled on Teams. And so I really don't need to have nothing and all that. I have the online version of the Teams. I can open my Word or PowerPoint or Excel directly on my Microsoft Teams. You have the calendar, of course. And so this keeps the students or the teachers aware of what their schedules are. You can schedule your meetings, schedule your classes and all that. And the calendar gives you reminders as depending on the settings that you have put. You can give students praises. So it has the praise icon. And so I can say, oh, that was a wonderful thing. It could be on the general post, or it can be sent specifically to the students. And the beautiful thing about it is that it has the immersive reader for students who have some challenges or disabilities. And so it makes easy, it can read aloud, change their reading settings and all that, so they can equally flow along without much stress during the engagements. So besides that, we also have what we call the OneNote class notebook. And so the OneNote class notebook, it's like a digital notebook with different sections. And then as a class notebook, you have different areas where you have the content library, and of course, the collaborative space, which is what of our focus, and even in this presentation, where you could work together in a space building up content. And each student has their own notebooks that can be accessed by the teachers. All the students equally can access the content library, and they can equally collaborate together in one space. So OneNote class notebook is one other tool that you can use for collaboration, even when you're virtually learning. So it's easier for students to organize, to take notes. There's digital inking, which inspires creativity and improves the retention. You can insert screen clips and any file type. So on your OneNote, you can describe Word documents. You can attach your PowerPoint there on the notebook. So if you have your teacher share content, the students can easily add it to their own jottings or notes on that one notebook. And it's also easy to collaborate by sharing your link or space with other people. And for teachers' benefits, you get to organize your lesson plans and course content in a searchable digital notebook. So all you have to do is search in case you want to reshare something or use it for another class. It will pull up the OneNote, no matter how many notes you have made on your Microsoft OneNote. And of course, provide real-time student coaching and feedback by text or voice. So when your students submit, if you are assessing your students' notes, you could actually give a feedback by the voice, give comments on, do a voice recording over their submissions. So it's not like you're just marking with a red pen and you can say, oh, this is why I don't think this is correct. And you put the voice recording there. And when the student is going over the returned script, the students can listen for your voice feedback and know exactly what ought to have been done. So it's a framework for teaching and learning with OneNote and Office 365. So we have OneNote and then we have OneNote class notebook. It's also similar to Microsoft OneNote, but in this case, it's for a class. And so everybody in that class have their own individual notebooks, and then the teacher has also access to each class notebook. And of course, in that class, for instance, if you have a physics class, one notebook, all your physics students have their personal student notebooks. Then you also have content library where you drop everything concerning that course for that semester in the content library. And of course, you also have your collaborative space. And so one of the other tools also I would like to talk about is the share feeds, whatever mobile apps you want to use, and you can have the e-discovery where you search for things and all that. You could have your SkyDrive, your PowerPoint and the Power View and all that, all attached into one space. And this is a shareable application also, so it helps with collaboration. And then we also, of course, OneDrive, which is our cloud storage. And so in OneDrive, you can open and edit documents. You can share documents with other colleagues or even your students from Office, from your OneDrive, and you can access it anywhere at any time also. So some of these tools I have shown are tools that can enable collaboration even in a virtual learning environment. I would, at this point in time, move away from my slides and want to do a little demo Microsoft Teams, so that how we use it as an educator to engage with our students. So I would sharing my Teams application. Excuse me. Okay. So basically, this is what a Microsoft team looks like. This is the landing page. If you're on the Microsoft Teams, I'm actually an instructor and an educational trainer, and presently working with training teachers digitally across a particular state. And so you can see that on my Teams, I have all the educators in different districts. So as an educator, you could have various classrooms instead of districts. This may be your various classes that you're engaged with. And you can have as many classrooms as you engage with on your team. There's no limit to the number of teams that you can create on your Microsoft Teams. So normally we begin from, sorry, I shouldn't have done that. Okay, let me stop sharing. As I would get back on that. Okay, we're back on here. So I will share my screen and do just a quick demo on Microsoft Teams so that we can see how it works. Okay. Sorry, a minute. Please give me a minute. I will be. Okay. So we share. Okay. application. All right, so I'm back. Good. So this is the first landing page, the first interface. You can see we have what we call the we space here, me space. So here I get to see all activities going on in the various teams. And so like I just want an overview of what's happening in the teams that I am associated with. I will click on my activity, and then it gives me the different activities happening in different teams, who said what, at what time, the comments were made and all that. So I could do a quick check on what's happening in all the classrooms here. And then if I have chats, maybe personal chats or chats going on in different teams, I can also follow at the chat box here and look at what's happening in different classes and the discussions going on. Of course, if I want to access my teams, like that's where I came from, I could click on the teams here. And then this is the assignment backpack. Basically, this will be more active for students when you have shared assignments for them. Because of the trainings I'm doing on this team, we really aren't using the assignment because it's not students. I'm not engaging with students right now on this particular team. But if I were a student and I clicked on my assignment backpack, and if it would show me all the classes I am engaged with, and it will highlight where I have assignments that I'm yet to attend to. So as a student, it's easy for you to organize your assignments based on the different classes you are engaged with. And so you could just easily check. But I am not a student, and so I don't have any assignments given to me for now on my assignment backpack. And of course, the calendar is where you get to either schedule a meeting or attend the classes. So as a teacher, if I schedule a meeting, for instance, on my screen, I have quite a number of meetings. Like I said, I'm doing quite a lot of training right now. So I can see that I have channel 1. I have a meeting from 9 a.m. to 10:30 there. And so there's going to be a live session going on there that I have been invited to. So being a coach, I basically am monitoring what is happening in these various channels. And so I have access to all those channels. Right now, there's no meeting going on because it's a weekday. As you can see, this was on Thursday. So you can see your work week. I can click on scheduling a new meeting. I inviting my students. And once I schedule a new meeting, and then for instance, I schedule a new meeting, maybe my biology class, I type in or I attach in the required attendance, maybe biology class channel 1 or biology class SS1, depending on how I named my different classes. I can fix up the dates and the time I want the meeting. Do I want it reoccurring? I can customize it. Or is it every day, daily, or just once in a week or monthly? Then I can give more details. And once I say save, I haven't done anything. So if I save it, then it will ask if I want to share. And once I say to share, it will definitely populate in the calendars of those that are required to be part of the meeting. But I won't be just a demo session. So let's go in quickly into what the interface of one of the teams look like. I will pick one of my demo accounts. And so we just quickly look at what, for instance, as an instructor. Okay, let me use this. That's a biology. So for a biology class, for instance, for your students, you have, once you create a class team, you can see where you have your class notebooks and your assignments and your grades. So if you are once you send your assignments and it's turned in into the grade, so it shows you those you've graded, those you haven't graded, those that are waiting to be graded, and all that. So it's really an org where everything is done in one place. And so you have your class notebook. Like I said, for the class notebooks, every student in your class that has been signed up to these teams would have a personal notebook that you can access from the class notebook. So I don't have anyone set up here, but once I set it up, I was thinking I did have a class. I have so many teams up. I'm not sure which of the demo ones I normally use, but this helps you set up your class notebook. And as long as you have students in this team, they will automatically have a personal class notebook. But the beauty about it is that they only have access to their own class notebooks, but you as an educator, you have access to all their class notebooks. And like I demonstrated in the slides, the class notebook has the content library and the space. So here you set up your assignments. If you already have tests that you have done before, you can share. If you want to start create new assignments, quizzes, and all that, you want to add your grading rubrics and all that, and then it can automatically generate scores and help you quickly get your grades for your students. And you now can export the Excel sheets for proper keeping and all that. So basically, it's an app that makes it easy for you to collaborate with your students. For instance, I created a schedule here, and so if you populate that we have a revision for this, so every student is notified. You can create announcements, and you can continue with your chats. I guess if I just quickly give you an in view of what we do right now. So you can see there's an announcement made. Once you put an announcement and you make it important, it populates. So every student has a notification that there's an important announcement period. As you can see, the red icons here signifying importance, and you could attach files, any kind of file, and you can open the files right here on the team, or the students have the option of downloading files and having access to it offline. So the beautiful thing about Teams is that you can use it both online and offline. Use it offline, and then you sync when you go online, so that all that you have done during the process is saved. So I think with this, I would stop my presentation and then maybe stop sharing here. But I hope with the little that we've done, we've been able to see that there are many tools out there that you can collaborate with and increase collaboration with your students. There are some links that will also be shared with you on the module, where you can also get more activities, and you need to learn more about Teams. We have a link shared from the Microsoft Educator community, so you can go in there and learn more. There are also free tools that you can use to increase students' collaborations, like Kahoot, Peer Deck, and all that. So the link to the access for such applications will also be shared after this on the platform. So, Mr. John, I think I'm good here.
Thank you very much for the presentation. It's really, really fantastic. Thank you so much. So let me bring the other facilitators on while we round off this. So I know you've actually loaded all our participants with so much that they'll have to scratch their head and think about that. Where do I go for this and all that? But I want to ask us a question. So I'll start from the last presenter. So what would you consider the rule of thumb for an educator or a school admin or a district or whatever in selecting a virtual learning environment? What would you consider now in just like 1 minute, 60 seconds? What would you consider for that?
Ease of access. And for me, ease of access is key. So if I'm a district, if I need to monitor, I need to see what's going on, I need to have a analytic view of engagement and all that. I need something that would help me do that easily. So for me, ease of access is key.
Yeah, okay. So Karen?
I agree. Ease of access, and what the teacher feels most comfortable teaching with. You know, the tool that you feel most comfortable, the students are going to pick that up from you. If you are very nervous, which is okay, many times we are when we try something new. If you're very nervous, the students will pick that up. But that's okay too. You just explain and that you're all learning together. So start with your comfort level and then kind of push yourself, I think, rule of thumb.
Yeah, Sandy. Hello, we can't hear you, Sandy.
Hey, yeah, sorry, pressed the wrong button. I agree with Karen. I think I also mentioned in my slide, the most important thing is that educators need to be comfortable with what they're happy in using, because if they're comfortable, the students will naturally see that they can work on it.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a very good one. So ease of use something that you're comfortable with.
Yeah.
It's very, very important when you're considering a virtual learning environment. So on this, I hope we've all learned something, and we should say a big thank you to our facilitators for giving us an overdose, I guess, of what they have. And I guess we should, on the screen, you'll see the link, learn.codorina.net. So there's so much information, valuable information that already been provided. So just get on to that place and join the class. Then they will still be available all through the week to answer your question. So make sure that you avail yourself the opportunity of getting on learn.codorina.net so that you'll be part of the class. The class doesn't stop yet. It continues on that platform. So Oluwakemi, thank you very much. Karen, you're really wonderful. Sandy, that was an awesome thing. So I really appreciate everyone for really taking the time to be able to do this presentation. So, and till we come your way again next week, please make sure that you keep safe and then access the learn.codorina.net. Thank you very much.